Brooke Army Medical Center, or BAMC, as so many people know it, is celebrating 25 years of its Level 1 trauma verification.
But what makes BAMC stand out even more from other trauma centers? Its connection to the Department of Defense. Serving
civilians and the military community here. Our Jonathan Cotto takes us inside this one-of-a-kind medical facility.
From a military perspective, there's no other facility like BAMC. It's the only hospital in the Department of Defense that's also a Level 1 trauma center, and that's also integrated completely into the community where it sits.
Brooke Army Medical Center services over 250,000 military beneficiaries around San Antonio and treats about half of the city's major traumas. Level of coverage not seen anywhere else.
They don't do that at Walter Reed. They don't do that at Naval Hospital Bethesda. They don't do that at Madigan. We only do it here at Brooke Army Medical Center.
Serving 22 counties. That's about 2.2 million patients.
A really giant catchment area of patients, both from the farmlands to the cities.
According to SAPD's recent crime update, the city experienced an increase in crime in 2022. An increment also seen at BAMC's emergency department. Chief of Trauma and Surgical Care Timothy Nunez says there's been a 20 to 30% increase overall.
We have also seen an increase of a couple percentage points of our penetrating trauma, which is, the violence that you see in the news every day.
On average, the team handles around 15 emergency visits daily, ranging from gunshot wounds to crashes and cuttings.
3 to 4 of those patients are going to get an operation in their first 24 hours. About 60% of them get admitted to our intensive care unit.
It's a relatively slow day inside of BAMC's emergency department, but the group of medical professionals here say that can change at any moment.
We know when trauma occurs, and it starts to pick up around 16, 17, 1800. We start seeing more and more, and sort of starts tailing off at 03, 04 in the morning.
What makes BAMC even more unique? It has the only rooftop helipad in the Department of Defense. Rothwell says about 15% of their casualties arrive by air.
Multiple things that have to go right in order for the person to not decompensate, even in this short journey.
With 64 emergency rooms, state-of-the-art equipment, and a highly trained trauma team, BAMC is ready to serve its community.
The community needs to know that they live in and they support the premier military-civilian collaboration in the country.
Reporting Jonathan Cotto, KSAT12 News.
It really is a pretty amazing place, and as part of our KSAT Q&A today, KSAT reporter Jonathan Cotto joining us to talk more about BAMC. Jonathan, I've been at BAMC before. It's not some place where you can just drive up to. It's not like your average hospital. So I want people to realize just how rare a look like you got inside the walls of that place is.
It was a process that we had to plan out for several months. So I do have to thank the team of professionals there that coordinated this visit. BAMC is treated like any other military installation, so you do have to have the proper credentials to get inside.
And now we talk a lot here about, people who were involved in serious car accidents, in some of those violent crimes that we heard that surgeon mention. They end up at BAMC. So that's what makes this so unique, that it's, while treated like a military installation, it serves the entire community. So how did that happen?
We're in a unique position, and we cannot take the effort that the medical professionals at BAMC do day in and day out. So if you ever have an opportunity to drive by the facility, wave and say thank you very much for everything that they do. But when you put things into perspective, when we're seeing this crime increase in the city, it's only obvious to expect that those number of crimes are going to be reflected in an emergency room as well.
Yeah. Now, part of what they use out there is whole blood, and that's a little unique, is it not, for a lot of trauma centers?
It is actually. BAMC relies on its own whole blood supply, so even the helicopter is equipped with its own, whole blood supply, and ambulances now as well. And this is something that came about through all the knowledge and experience that's been developed overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan, when they're treating the troops that are experiencing these injuries, these trauma injuries, traumatic experiences. They've learned that using whole blood is the most effective method when trying to treat a trauma patient.
And whole blood, that is blood that has not gone through the process of having platelets removed, white blood cells, things like that.
Correct. So the whole blood does have the red blood cells, the platelets, and the white blood cells. And it's important to note that this has changed within the last 25 years. You know, in my conversation with, Chief of Trauma, Timothy Nunez, he says that in the 90s, they would use a crystalloid solution. So the technology and the advances have really come a long way.
Yeah.
And just the jewel that Joint Base San Antonio is, but then when you put BAMC and the San Antonio military medical community together, I mean, there are not a lot of communities, if any, that are like San Antonio's.
You know, Steve, I was really impressed to learn that we are in a unique position to have BAMC. We are very lucky to have a facility of this type because, as you heard, not even Walter Reed, who is a state-of-the-art medical facility as well, has the capabilities or serves in the capability that BAMC does, serving both the military and the civilian. Very unique.
Big part of the community.
How did it get this level 1 trauma designation? I know that's something you and I were talking about earlier today.
Yes, level 1 trauma designation is something that not all hospitals get. It's very difficult to obtain and maintain. So this happened about 30 years ago when the state of Texas decided that they wanted to expand their trauma system. And the city of San Antonio says, hey, we have to be part of this trauma system as well. So BAMC became a level 1 trauma center, as well as University Hospital and as well as Wilford Hall that many may remember.
Yeah.
So over the years, and this was 96 and 97, so over a span of 2 years, those 3 centers received their level 1 designation, BAMC becoming the 7th in the state to have that designation. Now there's roughly about 20 hospitals across the state with level 1 trauma.
Jonathan Cotto, appreciate your reporting and your Q&Aing with us.
Yes,
First
absolutely.
time being asked the question.
An in-house Q&A.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Nearly 3 weeks after that toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, a preliminary report is expected this week from the National Transportation Safety Board. The goal is to determine what happened and how to prevent it. ABC's Melissa Adon shows us why people in that affected area feel more needs to be done right now.
The Environmental Protection Agency has signaled that Norfolk Southern Railway will be required to pay for the cleanup following that toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, nearly 3 weeks ago.
I know this order cannot undo the nightmare that families in this town have been living with.
Norfolk Southern telling ABC they are committed to thoroughly and safely cleaning the site, and we are reimbursing residents for the disruption this has caused in their lives. The rail company now says they've gathered 1.5 million gallons of contaminated water and 4,500 cubic yards of contaminated soil. Meanwhile, the Ohio Department of Health has transformed an East Palestine church into a health clinic for residents concerned for their health and who say they've been facing numerous symptoms since the derailment. 24 patients seen on the first day alone, and appointments are filling up quickly. State and federal authorities are telling skeptical residents that the water is safe.
We know things are all right now, and we just need to make sure that in the future they're all right as well.
Former President Trump, who has been critical of the Biden administration's response, visited East Palestine Wednesday afternoon. The White House quick to respond to that visit, noting it was the Trump administration that withdrew train-related safety regulations. A National Transportation Safety Board spokesperson tells ABC News the agency's preliminary report on the investigation into the disaster will be released Thursday morning. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg will also travel to East Palestine Thursday. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Around America now, a report out of a New York law school says that lawmakers in 32 states are trying to restrict voting. The Brennan Center for Justice at NYU's law school published that report that says at least 150 state bills were introduced through January 25th looking to restrict voting. The analysis shows an increase in these bills, making it harder to vote compared to last year and the year before. The potential legislation is part of Republican-led pushes to change laws after the claim of election fraud in 2020.
The United States military advising active duty soldiers to stop eating foods with poppy seeds. Top Pentagon officials sent a memo to service members that eating poppy seeds can cause them to fail drug tests. The memo says poppy seed crops are cultivated by the pharmaceutical and food industries. During harvest, those seeds can be contaminated with morphine and codeine. It's not mentioned how many troops tested positive for drugs because of poppy seeds, but Pentagon researchers looking at positive tests all the way back to 2019 as part of this review.
Look outside with live cam this evening. Beautiful sunset out there, and these temperatures, it is just a warm week we have here, Adam.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, we've had our fair share of cold spells this winter, but overall, we have had an above average winter when it comes to temperatures. This evening, right now, 86 degrees. By 9 o'clock, we'll quickly fall down into the 70s, and by midnight, we'll actually get down into the 60s, and then tomorrow morning, we'll start the day in the upper 50s. Not as hot the rest of the week. We'll talk temperatures and take a look at the big picture, where all the moisture is and where it's heading, and of course, the big temperature difference north-south right now in just a bit.
Okay, we've been warned that winter is not over, despite how this week may feel.
Yeah, despite the fact we hit 90 in certain areas of our viewing area.
We did, and I'm not looking at a big cold front anytime soon, but temperatures will modify, get a little closer to average for a day, but we're not looking at a massive cold front, but we have seen freezes well into March and even in one instance into the first couple of days of April. High temperature trend though, 80 degrees tomorrow. Then by Friday, we're back down to 70, and that's pretty much average for this time of year in terms of the afternoon high. This weekend will be in the upper 70s, and there will be some dampness headed our way as well. I want to take a look outside. Beautiful sunset though. We've got some of those high thin clouds streaming overhead, so if you happen to snap a beautiful photo of our sunset, post it on KSAT Connect. Go to the Weather Authority app, bottom right corner, that little camera icon, boom, upload it there. Anyway, 86 degrees right now, dew point of 38. We had dew points in the 60s early this morning. Then the dry line moved through, wiped away that humidity, pushed in the dry air, and we had the gusty westerly winds. But the humidity is already slowly starting to return and move back into position. High temperatures today. 89 here in town, made it to 96 in Del Rio. Hotspots Cotulla and Laredo at 97. Even Corpus Christi making it up to 95. Pleasanton 94. We're feeling the heat here. Not the same across the rest of the state though. You get to West Texas and up into the Panhandle and even North Texas, temperatures noticeably lower. I mean, Lubbock a high of 67, Marfa 71, El Paso a high of 66. Big picture right now in terms of the current readings, below zero in parts of the northern tier of the U.S. We're talking Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, whereas around here, we're still in the 80s, 86 degrees. And you have that really sharp temperature contrast right now. I mean, look at 57 in Oklahoma City, then 28 in Wichita, Kansas, even 60 in Springfield, and 28 in Omaha. That really sharp temperature contrast helps develop a strong jet stream. And so this is a very strong jet stream, and especially when it has the kink like this, where you get these troughs in the jet stream. It's what we call the meridional flow, and that means more active weather. That cold air plunging southward, then even warm air trying to push northward, and that's when you get the active weather, and that's what we have. There's the jet stream right there draped across the nation, and it's leading to widespread snow in the west and even up north, heavy snowfall as well. And then, of course, the rain along a cold front there passing over the Mississippi and into the Ohio River Valley. So it's an active weather pattern, just not for us. Take a look at this over the next 7 days. Feel a little cheated, if you ask me. Rain and snow accumulation everywhere else, just about everywhere else, except for a good chunk of Texas and even Florida missing out on the moisture. So we're looking pretty dry here, but there will be some nuisance moisture. You hear me say that a lot in these situations where we get drizzle and dampness, but no real rain, nothing to help us out. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, okay, you see a 20% chance. That's a 20% chance of a sprinkle to maybe a light shower in the morning, but I think for the most part, just drizzle. Developing on Friday, and then both Saturday morning and Sunday morning we'll have that nuisance dampness around. I wish we had better odds, but unfortunately we don't. As for temperatures tomorrow morning, we'll start the day in the upper 50s. 58 Stinson Airport, 58 most of San Antonio, Devine 56, and about 54 in Kerrville. By the afternoon, make it back to 80 degrees. A little bit of morning fog briefly. Generally, though, a sunny day and a northeasterly wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not nearly as windy. I mean, the wind is already calming down out there after the gusts we had earlier today. The wind has already subsided, and it's not going to be overly gusty tomorrow or even really in the days ahead. 78 tomorrow, Bulverde and Bernie, up to 81, Floresville and Pleasanton. And we get into the weekend, highs in the upper 70s, and that's really dependent on us squeezing in a little bit of afternoon sunshine. But if that drizzle and if the low clouds really hold tight, then we could easily be a bit cooler than that. Just something to keep in mind, but you're not going to notice a huge difference. We get into next week, and actually, a weak cold front moves through Sunday night. There's a 10% chance of a shower. And notice all that cold front really does is drop our morning temperatures back into the 40s briefly by Tuesday morning. It doesn't really affect the afternoons very much.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
We've got the buzz up next.
In the buzz today, men participating in the world's biggest trial of a 4-day work week spent more time with their children. That's according to results published Tuesday by the nonprofit organization 4-Day Workweek Global. Starting last June, about 2,900 workers across 60 companies in the UK participated in this trial.
Yeah, managers and employees say it gave them more time to run errands, take up hobbies, simply recharge, spend time with your kids. Among all workers, 60% said it was easier to combine their jobs with childcare.
No word specifically on the women, I guess, in the study. Not yet.
I was going to point that out, that, whatever. All right, how about Aaron go brain freeze? Yes, we're still in February, but March is right around the corner, just in time for St. Patrick's Day. McDonald's back with its popular Shamrock Shake. This holiday-themed drink debuted in 1970.
My husband loves these. It was so popular that McDonald's released a second version of the shake in 2020 with mixed-in Oreo cookies like you just saw. Both versions of the Shamrock Shake are available at participating McDonald's nationwide, but be quick. The sweet treats are in limited supply.
All right.
Celebrations about drinking this week continue, which, is appropriate. It's National Margarita Day. Whole different kind of drink this time. These days, you have plenty of options to choose from beyond the traditional lime flavor. Check out your favorite watering hole, perhaps, to see if they're offering any margarita specials. A lot of Mexican restaurants might be your best bet.
Yeah, if you don't know where to go to celebrate, don't worry. We have a list of places citywide to check out on this National Margarita Day. Just head to KSAT12.
We'll be right back.
Nice shots out there. This near Bigfoot, Texas, so just southwest of San Antonio down I-35. You see that little sliver of a moon there, and if you look closely this evening, actually you don't even have to look too closely, but with the naked eye it's easier to see than in these photos. You'll see some bright lights, and that would be Jupiter and Venus near the moon. So go outside, look up for the moon, and you'll see Jupiter and Venus as well. A little bit of morning fog tomorrow, otherwise sunny, 80 degrees, then near 70 on Friday with clouds and some drizzle developing.
Our thanks to Bigfoot and Poth.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
See you at 10.